I gotta say, hey, what's up, Tuna Bites?
Yeah.
We're back. We're back. Uh, so Richard, how's life treating you during this 2020 year? I'll just put it that way.
Life's been weird. I've the quarantine happened in late March, I think, for France, and then so we've been stuck at home for a bit. Then I was able to go back to work for a little bit, and then we came to the U.S. for a couple weeks, and then came back, and then we got back in France last week. So
Okay.
it's been a little bit of craziness.
Okay. Gotcha.
How about yourself?
Yeah, it's been a wild time. We just like everybody else, kind of the quarantine and then not things happening, kids at home doing school virtually. Lots of things canceled and changed, and we're in the midst of a home. Well, I shouldn't say home. I should say a kitchen remodel, because we had a pipe burst in our wall of our house over 4th of July weekend. So we're actually
fun.
in a rental. So
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So it's been just kind of along the theme of 2020. Anything and everything has been happening, but we are good. God's been good to us, and we just laugh. It's like when stuff happens now, we're just laughing. We're like, it's 2020.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely a strange time. Actually, I was thinking. So, what when all the virus stuff was happening, and they were canceling or I guess postponing sports leagues. I wasn't, of course, at the beginning I kept thinking, NFL, it should be fine. In other words, I was thinking, we probably won't be too affected. Obviously now things have been still impacted, of course. At what point did you feel like that the NFL season was going to be impacted quite a bit by the virus?
When they basically told everybody to stay home.
Okay.
That's pretty much. It was like, well, I don't know how they're going to do NFL if everybody has to stay home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
No, I guess maybe I was more optimistic. I mean, I they were talking about summer stuff for all these other leagues that are going now, but I think I was just thinking, NFL will continue. I wasn't thinking too much of the impact for NFL, and I guess I was being optimistic. But I guess probably by the time by June, once they tried to open things back up, or they've started to open things back up here, the beginning of May, and then in June numbers were spiking and all that kind of stuff. Then when I was just seeing that, then I was, I guess by June I was thinking, okay, NFL season's definitely going to be impacted in a certain way, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, that, of course, that changed our plans. We were going to do a post-free agent, post-draft Tuna Buzz. That was our original plan before all the virus stuff.
Yep.
And, that changed. And then it was just kind of weird. We, normally by now we pretty usually drafted or are about to draft by now, usually in our league. And so...
Yeah, we got less than 2 weeks, right?
Yeah. A week and a half away from the draft, which I'm excited about, just to have, I think, one, to kind of get us all together in some form or manner, and also just, something fun to kind of look forward to, even though we don't know what the season looks like. I'm excited.
I'm not looking forward to the draft, only because it's really late at night for me. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm at a disadvantage. People can argue that if they want, but I feel at a disadvantage.
So, Richard, for everybody who maybe doesn't know or doesn't want to do the math or look up what time it is, what time will it be for you when we start the draft?
I can't remember what time it starts for US. What time does it start?
8:30.
8:30. So that would be 2 a.m.
Oh, nice. So you're just gonna pull an all-nighter.
I'm gonna have to do something. We'll figure it out. Figure it out. It's gonna be rough.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna make some bad decisions. Is what's gonna happen.
Oh gosh. Well, it'd be good that everybody can get together. Here's the thing I thought that was kind of ironic and kind of funny, was that usually when we set up our draft, it takes us a little while to go, thinking between dates. We toss different dates around,
Yeah.
Well, of course, of all years this year, everyone just agreed universally upon the 23rd as like the date. So I was really shocked. I was like, this never happens, and everybody was just good with it. So I was like, all right, this is just 2020, So.
Well, if people want to be kind and have it sooner, I would appreciate that, but I don't think that will be a big movement. So.
Yeah.
Like I said, mistakes will be made.
Well,
But
Richard, we always have mistakes no matter who it is or what time it is that we do the draft. Something always happens every year where somebody's like, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, it's true.
Computer froze.
I've already got my pick lined up, so I'm good to go for my first round.
Oh, you got it lined. You're lined up.
I've got my top 3. I don't care which one it is, as long as it's one of those 3. I've got them in the order.
Yeah.
I've got them in order. I'm ready to go.
Well, yeah, and I don't suppose you're going to share that, Although
I can share it.
A good test to see if let's see, Donald and Daryl are in front of you. So a good test to see if they actually are like listen or watch Tuna Buzz would be just to give you the list.
I'll tell you exactly who it is.
Okay.
You want to know? I got.
Well, wait. Let's do this. Let's save it. Let's save it
to the end.
Okay. What's that?
Till the middle. Save it for later.
Yeah. Let's save it for later. I mean, if we're gonna do, I think maybe next week we're gonna try to do like a specific just draft with predictions and kind of look at the draft specifically, right? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So let's save it. Let's save it for that. Because that'll just be better. We can put it with the draft and you can think about it and
yeah.
I don't know. Unless I might get a little bit. I don't know. I might get impatient and ask you before we do this. Like, Richard, I want to know what you're thinking. What are you? Not that it matters for me because I'm behind you. So
yeah. Just for the first round. All I got is the first round. You guys are too unpredictable to figure out everything else.
That's true. Which Tuna Bites? That's what we're going to talk about next week. Is just kind of our predictions and kind of look at the draft and everything. So, Richard, one of the things I guess before we kind of move forward with some of the changes and things, with the coronavirus, you had this idea originally. You were the first one that I think you told me early in the summer, hey, it would probably be a good idea to, have an extra spot or two specifically for players who have COVID. And so, which I think is a good idea. You said that, and I, talked with some other Tuna Bites, and I think everybody was, Jonathan and whatnot, they were, in agreement with that. So, I think what we tried to do, and this may change, I went into with our league, we have custom settings. And I was hoping we could just create our own specific COVID IR spot, but they didn't have it available. They only had the IR spot and then the practice squad thing. And so right now we're going with 2 practice squad spots, only designated for coronavirus if a player's out because of it.
Okay. So is that like an honor system?
Yeah, it is. And so the deal is that if you put somebody on who's doesn't have coronavirus, whether he just be injured or just you're just adding an extra guy just because, if you put somebody in that spot who doesn't have COVID, then we're gonna let you know, like, hey, you need to change it immediately, or we will drop somebody off your roster of our choice.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So anyways,
good.
yeah, we are. We're gonna do the honor system. I mean, if CBS changes, I'm hoping that maybe by the time we get closer to the season, they'll have a specific spot, because one of the problems, one of the problems was just with adding an extra 2 IR spots was that, you can only put a player in IR if they have an actual like IR designation in the NFL. So I think one of the things that was, I didn't want to add those 2, and then let's say somebody has coronavirus and they're out that week. I wanted everybody to be able to say, hey, I can just put that player in that position and pick somebody up off the waiver wire. So I'm hoping they'll change it, because the practice squad, that was just kind of like our default option. So if they add a special position for that, then we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll do this honor system with the practice squad, the 2 practice squad positions.
Something maybe we can look into, and maybe if we can find it in the within CBS is maybe there's a suggestion box that we can ask CBS directly, and if we can find it, maybe we just post it on the page. Say, hey, everybody, suggest this to CBS, and see if we can get it. You would think that a company like that, maybe they have something.
I'm hoping. I was kind of surprised when I looked because, everybody, of course, this affected, the season is very uncertain. And, it is going to be, it's just going to be one of those years that we just, we'll try to make the best of it and adjust. I don't know about you, but I personally, I kind of feel like because of all the uncertainty of COVID and the fact that, you could not only have a player out, but, they could, worst case scenario, say, hey, we're going to postpone this NFL game like they did with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really look, necessarily at any team, and I know we'll talk keepers, but I don't look at any specific team in our league that I would say, oh, yeah, they have, they're the favorite or they have a great advantage because they're players. I mean, just because there's so much uncertainty with this. I mean, we can talk about, obviously, maybe some people have better keepers or maybe a better team by the time we do the draft. But, with COVID, there's so much uncertainty. It's just going to be really a real challenge for everybody.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But what are kind of, I guess, your thoughts on we added the 2 extra practice squad spots for COVID, and then of course this year we kind of did it really quick because we weren't sure what was going to happen with our league and everything. So now we got new divisions this year.
Yeah.
So it was that time again.
I'm excited.
What do you think?
I'm excited for it. It's interesting. Let me see if I can pull it up on here. Hold on. I'm going to pull up the I forget how to get there. Bear with me. Where is it? Overall, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so we got you, me, Jonathan, and John Mac in the same division, which I think is super interesting.
Yep.
Because now Jonathan gets to try to take revenge on me twice this year.
He probably hasn't forgot.
No, I've already talked to him about it. So.
Yeah, it's well, when we did, of course, we went kind of back to the old school way where we just, we've done the last several years or times that we've changed up the divisions because, we try to do it every 2 years. And so, we always had a kind of a theme or a reason for why we were doing it and how we broke up the teams. But, I think this year we just kind of decided, let's just do it kind of random and kind of see where it falls. That's kind of fun. And then that way, if somebody's not happy with it, well, they can blame CBS. So
I got to say, out of all the divisions, I think our division is the most spread out as far as geography.
Yes. We are very spread out. You're right. That is true. Now I'm looking at the Atlantic Division, and I like the way they spread it out. I honestly wasn't sure because you never know. You do with our league. This is our 19th year, and we've when they do the random thing, sometimes they're not factoring in maybe all what we've done and what the reasons why we've done certain arrangements with our division. So I was kind of like, I guess we'll see what happens. And I was pretty pleased with how they divided up everybody with the divisions. And I think it's a pretty good mix. I think it's been a long time, I think, since I've been in division with John Mack. I don't remember recent years being in division with him. So that's kind of cool just to, be with them. But, and I'm looking at the Pacific.
I'm looking at PC and Aaron in the same division doing two games a year or this year together. That's because I feel like the last 2 years they've been back and forth with each other, right? Am I misremembering?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. That's going to be fun to see how it plays out. And then we've got somebody's lives doesn't matter based off of the Southern Division because somebody's not going to win. Sorry, maybe it was a bad joke, but you got Tuna Lives Matter and you got All Lives Matter. So,
yeah, that's one of the more controversial divisions, Richard. So we're just their own little thing there.
You got Captain Insano, which that's enough said. You got Mayfields and McCoys. That's a it's a rivalry unto itself, and then you've got the Lives Matter. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will. They're a little rambunctious in that division. Yeah. I think they might be the ones that talk a little bit more trash, maybe this year. And
we'll see.
See. Richard, I'm looking at something right now as I'm looking at the divisions.
Yeah.
And CBS. This is on CBS, okay? So you can't get mad at me or anybody else. But I noticed that in the Pacific Division is where all of our oldest league members reside. So I don't know. CBS maybe wanted to put all the guys that were technically older in one division.
The old man's club.
Yeah. I mean, I guess. So I'm just saying. I just saw that. I'm just noticing. I'll probably get in trouble for that later. But I just saw that and I had to point it out. So
I feel like we should rename the league or the divisions now. Old man's club. You've got World Travelers, and then you've got Southern Division.
We'll just leave it like that. I might. We might change. There's nothing that says we can't change the division names. Now that we're talking it out. So Tuna Bites, you might just pop on one day and see that the league names have changed, and that could happen. So just know that. But no, I like the divisions. I think there's there's going to be some good rivalries. I mean, not just with who's going to be the best of those divisions, but I think just looking at certain people in there. Certainly in the Southern Division, you got Dwayne and Nathan. Those two guys. They're going to go at it.
Yep. That's going to be fun too. Everybody's matchups are going to be fun, but I'm just knowing the personal history with people and the fantasy football history and all that kind of stuff. It'll be fun.
Yeah, no doubt. So, Richard, you wanna give us a little just reasoning and thinking behind your new team name?
Well, I just figure, I'm in France, so that's where the French go, and Boondogler, I feel like that's kind of, my job is allowing me to be a boondogler, so I just went with it.
Okay. All right.
I had I can't remember. Last year was French swallows, right? Or no, French. What was it? French swallow, right? European swallow.
I think it was
European swallows, yeah. and that was a reference to the movie that PC and my dad really connected with. It's Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and so. And I connect with it. I connect with it too, and so it was kind of like a nice little reference, kind of hidden reference for people that got the joke or got the reference.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I always like it. It's always interesting to see what people put for their when they change their team names. So of course, Nathan. He's fully tied into Captain Insano and. Did you see his little teaser trailer that he posted back?
I did.
Okay. Well, I'm wondering if he's going to come out of his cave because he really disappointed at the end of last year. He just kind of disappeared, and I was really disappointed.
I wasn't. I hope it's because he was in rehab because I don't know if you remember the last video that he had, but it was a little worrying. He had some he was enjoying some whiskey by his side, so maybe he got some help in that regard. Maybe let's hope that when he comes back we're gonna see some excitement from him.
I hope so. I think he took the fantasy football a little bit too far, a little too seriously. And, he kind of went off the edge a little bit. And, we'll have to bring him on maybe as a guest again. And if he's, be sane enough to come on, which is always debatable. But, so we'll have to see. And of course, we've had some special guests, last year, so we'll have to continue that again this year. And I'm hoping, I'm really just honestly hoping that, they'll be able to get a full season in, and just be fun to be able to have that and converse back and forth. And 19 years. This is the 19th season that we're coming into, so it's it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So Richard, we had the keeper deadline, and it's come and gone.
Yep.
And so everyone's got their keepers. Any surprises to you that stick out, or
surprises? Honestly, I didn't pay attention to what people had before to compare to what they decided to give up. I think for the most part everybody kind of picked their best players, which was good. I was surprised that despite that Donald's just gonna. I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised at the same time. I really thought this year was going to be the year he was going to give up Brady, but he just kept him. He's had him for 19 years, I feel like. So he's going to keep him. Yeah. And then obviously Carson Wentz going to John Mack was kind of expected, unexpected, I guess. I don't know if that makes any sense. I was really, there's a couple people I was really hoping would just that would kind of drop, just because they were kind of not getting a whole lot of good news, but people were smart and they kept them, like Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen. I was really hoping they would. I was really hoping for some reason people would drop them, but I knew better than to really hope for it too hard.
Yeah. Well, and I know we really hadn't talked about, much. Of course, we haven't talked about the post-draft and free agency. And I know that probably, I'm sure for Donald, he would have just let go of Brady had it not been for, the move to the Bucs and surprising move to the Bucs. And, so I'm sure he probably looked at it and thought, I guess he was worth keeping, and with all the weapons the Bucs have. And that would be interesting, with coronavirus and all that, and not the off season that they normally have. It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds.
I agree. No, I agree. It's gonna be super interesting. I think keeping Brady is gonna be an interesting, or having Brady. I was really actually kind of hoping that he would drop him, because I kind of wanted Brady to be perfectly honest. I was gonna kind of pick him a little bit, and kind of sneak in there, but no, he did it for himself, so can't argue with him on that. So and my keepers, I was really worried until what is it? The Rams dropped one of the wide receivers, because I didn't really have a third keeper for myself, I felt. And but when they dropped what's his name, Woods became a lot more relevant. So I was really excited about being able to keep Woods. I felt like that was my three solid players, or my third solid player, and I didn't really have to beg for players to be traded to me. So that was really good.
Yeah, no, I think Robert Woods is he's a solid receiver, and he's been just really consistent. And so I don't think you can really go wrong with Woods. And he's gonna be a stable fantasy player, probably underrated, because he's not usually the one that you talk about as like the best, but fantasy wise, he's been really, really good. Mm-hmm. And and then of course your two running backs, which I'll say your two running backs, Mixon and Sanders, those are two guys that I expect to break out this year. And I think, there's obviously some questions with them, but I think that everything's lined up for both of those guys to be really good this year. And, so I think they were solid. I was looking at everybody's, just going through the keepers after the deadline. I feel like everybody pretty much, their keepers, they have really good keepers, and they're solid. I didn't really, look at one and go, man, this is going to be tough. And I think Donald, things worked out. Brady got to a better potential landing spot, obviously with the Bucs, and then, he made that trade with Jonathan to get Cooper, and he had Gurley. So, and then he's got all these draft picks from the trade last year, which, we'll talk about next week when we look at the draft. But, I think he's set up well.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's if you look at the roster, this is why I was like, after the keeper, when the keeper deadline happens and we see who's everyone's capped, and then you start planning for the draft, it's always great to look at, okay, who did everybody keep? And then, of course, you can kind of look at, okay, this is probably going to be their strategy because they kept, 2 running backs and a receiver, or 2 running backs and a tight end, or, whatever the mixture is of players that they kept. That kind of at least gets to tell you, how they probably will take the draft, or go into the draft. But of course, it's very unpredictable in our league. So, that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you didn't think anybody was surprising? I mean, everybody pretty much got top tier players, I think, for the most part. I mean, there really isn't anybody jumping out. Other than Brady, just as far as average draft position, I looked into it. Everybody has pretty high draft position players that kind of go in the first 3 rounds. So there's really nothing that's too crazy in there.
No, I think the only thing that probably surprised me a little bit, not a lot, but I think, and you mentioned Adam Thielen, I kind of thought maybe Josh would keep Kenyon Drake over Adam Thielen.
Mm-hmm.
So that was maybe one, I guess, where I was thinking he was probably going to do that, or I would have thought he would have maybe done that. But then, keeping Thielen, I understand why he kept Thielen, because, Stephon Diggs is gone, and so he should have a lot of targets in Minnesota. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was bad. It just, I guess I was thinking, oh, maybe he'll keep Kenyon Drake. And then when he didn't, I was a little surprised. But, again, it's not like a shock. It just, he obviously had to make a decision. So,
right.
But no, nobody else that some years you have somebody who really surprises you. But I felt like just looking at everybody, it made sense from where they were at. I mean, I'm sure some people had some tough decisions because how it is with our league. There's always somebody that, I can't keep this guy. I want to keep this guy. Or you have a player who's really close to, you have 2 guys that you're deciding between, and they're really close as far as your third keeper. So that's always, and of course trading, if anybody trades, that can factor into, what people are doing.
Right.
Which we didn't have too much. There really wasn't much of that.
Yeah,
but there still could be.
I almost pulled a trigger on a trade because I overvalued somebody and undervalued one of my guys, and then I started looking at I offered it actually, and it was turned down, thankfully. Because I looked at it afterwards and I'm just like, oh, I did not value that correctly. so I had to backtrack on it, because I was like, oh, you know what, I'm way off on this, and so I apologized and everything. But I already almost made a mistake. So.
Well, with all just the weird, strange time that we're in this year, it was kind of weird because you had the virus stuff, the pandemic, everybody was staying at home. And then it was like, they still had NFL free agency. They still had the draft.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just been kind of, they're not going to have preseason, and, training camp's limited. So it's you always forget. You have to kind of, this player moved here. This player did this. Is there anybody you think in the, between the draft and free agency, like, was there anything that was really, like, surprising to you? Or like really, aside from Tom Brady, I mean, what?
I can't think of anybody. I think Tom Brady was the big news, right? Like, I don't think there was really anybody else. Diggs went to the Bills, so that's the whole Adam Thielen allure, really, is that Diggs is not there anymore. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm curious what Diggs is going to look like with Buffalo. I'm kind of happy. Nathan, I was able to trade what's his name to Nathan last year, and then Phillip Rivers leaves, and now now that wide receiver is kind of back in the pool, and it's not really a keeper for me.
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, Keenan Allen. There you go. I love Keenan, but I'm kind of glad that worked out for me. Sorry, Nathan, but
yeah.
So
yeah,
I had a couple good trades last year, so I'm excited about this draft and what's going to happen moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I think it is. I mean, it was interesting to see. I think more than anything, just how players change teams, just how it affects not only the player that moved, but the other team. How it affects their value. Philip Rivers going to the Colts is interesting. Just not so much so for Philip Rivers, but just for that
TY
team.
and for TY.
Yeah, for TY and the team, and their offensive players, because it was a struggle last year for them. And then of course now, Rivers leaving San Diego. And they're kind of in somewhat of, I guess, I'll say rebuild, but they've got a rookie quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. So how does that work for them, this year in their offense? And
you know what? I thought of somebody else. Cam Newton.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be that's wild. It's like the Patriots can't go wrong. Like it's frustrating.
Well, I don't think anybody was surprised. It made the most sense. It was just like they, of course, waited a long time to do it.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, if Cam Newton can give a year just where he's healthy, I mean, it could be, they could be a team that, they're right back in it because they're the Patriots and they get a healthy Cam Newton. I mean, I'm still pretty skeptical about how he's going to look just because it's been a couple of years of injuries, but you never know. I mean, if he gives one good, I think, Gronk had a couple of years ago, he had one last great healthy year with New England. And then he was awesome. He had that whole year. He was healthy and he dominated. And then of course last year, he was just not the same. Or last year, I guess 2 years ago, he wasn't the same.
Right. Oh yeah. It was 2 years ago. I had him. I know.
Sorry, Richard. Not to bring up a bad.
I'm aware.
Yeah, no, I like I said, with that, it'll make it interesting for player values, and it's going to be really a challenging year for the players that moved to new teams, and then of course the rookies, not having really an off season like you normally would. That's I mean, I think rookies are still obviously going to have an impact because they always do, but I don't know how long it's going to take for a lot of the rookies to to find their rhythm or groove with their team. So,
yeah.
So that'll be interesting how it impacts everything. So,
some will have an immediate impact, though. We can hope.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No doubt. There's a few that will, and probably one of the early draft picks will be one of them. So
maybe. I don't know.
So
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of hinting, Richard, maybe to give your list, your top three list. I don't know if I can wait, but I mean, maybe we should make everybody wait so they can listen to watch next week. So
maybe I can give them now and I can update next week if something changes.
That's true. So Tuna Bites, obviously we're doing finally. You asked for actual video and not just the audio.
Yeah.
We're giving you that.
And I apologize for the video. This is first time we're trying to do video. It's super gangster. It looks awful. I'm using photo booth for me and Reid. We're doing FaceTime, so we can't do side-by-side photo video at the same time with FaceTime. So we're gonna have to figure something else out. But for now, this is what it's gonna look like. But I can screen share. I was able to pull up the website and share and show that while we were talking about it. So that was kind of the goal, to be able to do stuff like that.
So Richard, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. So if we later in the year, if we have a guest, are we gonna be able to do like 3 screens?
Currently no, but I think if we can figure out like I know Zoom, you can do multiple screens of people and that kind of thing. So maybe that, or maybe Google Hangouts or something like that. We'll figure out a better solution. So some testing needs to be done, that kind of thing. But for now, this is for you and me. This will work.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm just glad we're able to, have a Tuna Buzz, because I was kind of for a while thinking, are we going to have any Tuna Buzz? And B, I'm just, I'm happy we could do some, visual and try to work on that. And hone in on our professional skills with the Tuna Bus.
Yeah,
because it is. We run a tight ship here. So.
Yeah, a little upgrade on the Tuna Buzz.
Yeah. So. Yeah, a little upgrade. So, all right. Well, Richard. Okay, so I there's not really. I think I don't want to give away too much of our draft Tuna Buzz special edition, thing that we're doing next week, which we will do before the draft. So as you guys are going to be looking, just planning out, looking in the draft room, looking at the players and how you might, do your draft. I know some of you only look at it when you start the draft. But we're trying to provide you with a little bit of a preview and of things. So, Richard, what are your top three? What are they? I couldn't wait.
All right. So one is the rookie. It's Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
The next one, I believe, is Kenyon Drake.
Yep.
And the last one is DJ Moore.
Okay. Those are the top three. Those are good. No, those
that's not in any particular order. That's just what I remembered off the top of my head.
Okay. All right. Well, that does make sense. I would have definitely said, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Drake would have been definitely two that I would see going early in the draft.
Yeah.
And DJ Moore is definitely, probably up there in the receivers that are available and maybe where some people are looking. And we'll talk about it next week, but I really, the pool of receivers that we have available in our league is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
A lot of guys.
If I'll tell you, if I have more than if I have more than one available of those to me in the third pick, and it's between a running back and DJ Moore, it's actually going to be a really difficult decision because I don't know if I want to wait 12 picks to get another wide receiver because I feel like it's going to be tough to walk away from that. But that's a little bit more of my draft kind of thought process, and maybe I want to give away. But that's But just to kind of go along with what you were saying about wide receivers, the pool is so interesting this year that it's going to be.
Yeah, I know it is. Well, and maybe, Richard, since you're going to be, it's going to be like 2 a.m. for you, that maybe.
Maybe I just hit auto draft and just say peace out.
Yeah, no, I will talk about it. The receivers, the group of receivers available in our league, and the running backs that are available, there's a lot of intrigue to me on all those, and we'll touch on that next week. And, as we kind of preview the draft and give some predictions on the draft, because we always, when we do our three keepers, you're going to have, some really great players, available at all those positions, and maybe some that you're surprised with. But then you're also, you also have, just how the league changes as far as positions and the depth of the positions, and then, just where, players are at. And it just is always interesting to me. So I'm excited to get in next week to talk about, specifically the receivers and the running backs, and as we preview our draft, and then look at just everybody's kind of draft moving in. We'll talk next week. Look at everybody kind of going into the draft a little bit and some of our predictions, and kind of preview that up and get excited. So
sounds good.
Yeah. All right, Richard. Well, this was good. It was good to be back. So we Tuna Bites. Hopefully you watch, not just listen. You watch and listen, and get excited for the draft. Look for us for next week. Next week we'll be dropping the draft Tuna Buzz edition.
Yep.
So
not at a specific day or time, just when we do it.
Yeah.
That's all we're promising. Right. That's all we're promising. Hey, maybe we can do some sort of live draft reaction video that we can do. Like as we're drafting, we can kind of, you and I can get together. Maybe we'll get Insano in here if he wants to join or something like that. Figure it out, and we'll all kind of react to all the different picks as we go.
Okay, so we'd have to. I guess we'll have to plan ahead and kind of how we could set that up. So like we could be doing the draft, but then have like our live, kind of thing going on. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, because Richard, you'll be seeing me like, PC has this draft board at his house, so how he does the draft board. So I'll probably be bouncing around and
Yeah.
You'll see the chaos, that happened. And then, we have Captain Insano. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be.
I think it'd be pretty cool. I think it could work out.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll talk to Nathan, aka Captain Insano, and see about that. And if we can set up, whether it's with the Google Hangouts or whatever, that we can, I guess we'll just have to, as long as the camera's still going, getting live reactions. I mean, of course, we can stop it. If we get, by the time we get to, I don't know, whatever round, we can say, hey, we're just gonna, cut it off. We can do that.
And I can edit out anything too. I have more confidence in the skills that I have yet to learn than I should. But
oh gosh. So hey, are you just on how's your family? Family good?
Yeah, family's good. My mom's going through some stuff that we've been praying about, but she's doing okay. They're hopefully doctors figure it out soon.
Good.
So
yeah, we've been praying for her. So for sure. So
for everybody out there, if you guys want to pray for my mom, I'd really appreciate it. She's just going through something, and we're just expecting God to take care of her and see how the doctors figure out what to do and move forward. But it's tough being over in France and not being able to help it anyway. It's for me, but it's more tough obviously for my dad and for my mom. Kind of they're living by themselves now and just living it. So so I appreciate all the prayers that have already been prayed and continue to be prayed. So
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, we would definitely do that. And I'm glad you guys got to come over. I honestly didn't know if you could travel still, to the States. So I'm glad you guys got to do that.
Yeah, we were able to figure it out and get over here for a couple weeks. We actually had to, in order to get back to France, we had to test for COVID-19, and so we tested negative, and so we were able to see my mom and my dad and be able to see Julie's parents and siblings and cousins and all that kind of stuff. So it's been good. Nieces, nephews.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, that's good. So I'm glad you're able to do that. So, and all right, dude. Well, let's next week we'll try to do around the same time. So, from our time frame, we have to figure that out. See, Tuna Bites, you don't understand sometimes. We have to, the time distance it gets complicated, especially since we both have little kids and jobs. So.
Yeah, 6 hour time difference makes it really difficult. So plus kids and jobs. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right, man.
All right.
Good talking to you.
You too.
So, all right, dude. Catch you later.
See ya. Bye.
See ya.